Tonight we look at a film that poses the question, what would you do if you suspected you were a robot? We've all questioned our humanity at some point, but have you ever been confronted with the question of your own potential robotacy? If you're aware of yourself as a distinct entity, or you're feeling emotions right now, then probably not. However, you may be lulling yourself into a false sense of security, because the character featured in tonight's legitimate film review was in fact convinced of his own humanity until he discovered a truth that he wasn't quite ready to accept. For the main character in our feature review this evening, being part robot may turn out to be the least of his concerns. In Blade Runner 2099, Ryan Gosling plays Roy Gobling, a character who we the audience suspect might just be a robot. His girlfriend is a ghost who can cook. Roy is a private detective tasked with hunting down and force vaccinating climate change deniers. It's during one of these routine missions that Roy finds out his real dad might be a robot, meaning there's a 50-50 chance he inherited roboticism. Roy doesn't know how to feel about his robot dad because he has such a weird relationship with his stepdad.
Interlinked.
Do you long for having your heart interlinked?
Interlinked.
Roy's mum orders him to go to Las Vegas and bring his robot dad home, or she will have to pay for his library books that are 30 years overdue. When Roy gets there, he finds that Rick Dickard is actually living it up. Rick is enjoying his bachelor lifestyle and doesn't really want to go home to a mopey ex-wife. Rick takes Roy to see DJ Shadow, but they get in an argument about which one of them is more believable as a human. Rick says it's him, because punching good is a relatable skill that belies a deep reservoir of humanity. But Roy disagrees, so Rick just starts swinging. Afterwards, over a scotch, Rick says, "Sorry man, I'm flawed and have a temper," and Roy is like, "Okay, yeah, I get it, you're really human." Just then, Roy's sister, who is jealous of all the time he's been spending with their dad, shows up and Rick naps Dickard. On the ride over, Rick asks her how school is going, but she gets annoyed and says, "Shut up Dad, I'm 47. Then they ride the rest of the way in silence. Roy chases them down in his car, but he's a bit drunk still, so instead of carefully pulling alongside to talk things out reasonably, he runs them out of the sky and they smash into a river. Usually when this happens, Roy just drives off, but knowing he will get his shit pushed in if he doesn't get Rick's library books sorted, he swims out to help. Roy and his big sis have a brief game of headsy dunksy, then the last bit is basically just Roy taking Rick to see the librarian. She uses a giant augmented reality library computer to confirm that Rick never borrowed any library books after all, because books don't exist anymore? What? That's a bit weird. Roy is livid. He quietly excuses himself, upset that all his business cards have branded him the world's greatest detective, but somehow didn't know the most basic fact about books. When he calls the printing company to ask if he can exchange his business cards for new ones, they say, "Sorry, business cards don't exist either." When Roy double-checks the business cards in his wallet, it turns out they were just some paint colour samples. He's both relieved and confused. And that's where we leave Roy, never quite knowing why he misremembered his colour samples as business cards. And actually still not even sure if he was a robot after all that. In all of the excitement, I guess he just forgot to go and get tested.